Hello there guys and welcome to Saturday's action of the pre-season testing here at IFMC. I'm JWF1 and as mentioned we're here for day 2 here at IFMC. And if you didn't see what happened yesterday, it was quite a close session at the top, but in the end Sebastian Vettel was the man that topped the session with Fernando Alonso in second, and then Lewis Hamilton rounded out the top 3 in the end. And quite close between the top 2, only 1,000 separating Vettel and Alonso yesterday. Well, Alonso isn't in the car today of course, so because one of Etihad's test drivers is driving the car. Who it will be, you'll have to find out in a little bit, because we'll be showing you, in fact, roundabout, whoops, I shouldn't have done that, roundabout now then. So let's have a look then at the drivers. As you can see, I finally managed to correct the graphic from yesterday after not having Jerez in the background. But as you can see, for today's session in the Etihad, we have Lewis Hamilton and Daniel Ricciardo. Bud Light Line Motorsport have Romain Grosjean and Antonio Giovinazzi. Eldorado, Will Power and Scott Dixon. EMR, Sebastian Vettel and Nico Hülkenberg. Suomi, Kimi Räikkönen and Nico Kari. GRM, Jean-Eric Vergne and Antonio Felix da Costa. Monster, Brendan Hartley and Oliver Rowland. AMP, Pascal Wehrlein and Mick Schumacher. Martini, George Russell and Nick de Vries. Shadow, Sam Bird and Will Power. And, sorry, not Will Power, Will Palmer. And Mars Grand Prix, Marcus Armstrong and Sacha Fenestras. Considering that Power and Palmer are in today, I'm probably going to get them muddled up several times today. But they are the drivers taking part in today's session. And an hour session as per usual, bright and sunny here at Spain. So, without further ado, let's get to day 2. So, here we are then, here at IFMC. And as you can see there, RB Central trying to load itself up there. But we're going to go to the end of the pit lane then with Marcus Armstrong. So we will wait and get this session underway. As per usual, our session, TV graphics. Here at the ref, and we're waiting for some track pit activity happening. You just keep an eye on the right mirror of Marcus Armstrong if you can. But so far, everybody keeping quiet. I don't know if I can see a car in the background or it's just my eyes playing up. I think it's probably my eyes because there isn't a car coming into view. But now there is. As we go trundling down the pit lane, it is a monster car of Oliver Rowland who's going to be first out on track. So Rowland is going out. So out on track he goes, along with Nico Hülkenberg as well. And also coming out is Sebastian Vettel. So both EMRs coming out at the same time as each other. Vettel obviously topping yesterday's session. And so far EMR proving to be probably the faster of the 3 Mercedes-powered teams. And after several years of it being Monster, of course, Monster were the only sole Mercedes-powered team for the last 2 seasons. Obviously, they used to have a customer team as well in Season 1 in the form of Schmidt Racing Incorporated. Obviously, Monster beat them, and Schmidt folded at the end of Season 1. And now there's 3 Mercedes teams, and it's clear that Monster appeared to be, at the moment, the slowest out of the 2 of them, out of the 3 of them at the moment. In fact, Shadow looked to have some more pace than what the Monster cars do at this stage. So now as we go through the left-hander, Rowland preparing to start his first flying lap of today as he just swoops around the double right-hander now then before going towards the bus stop chicane. Rowland now then taking it easy now then as he prepares to start his first lap. As mentioned, we have Hülkenberg and Vettel out there, but we also have Lewis Hamilton in the Etihad out on track as well, the man who finished 3rd yesterday. Will Palmer out there, as is Antonio Giovinazzi, Marcus Armstrong, Jean-Eric Vergne, Romain Grosjean, Sacha Fenestras, Nick de Vries is out there, as is Nico Kari and Kimi Räikkönen. Hartley's also gone out on track as well. And now we are with Ollie Rowland again, who just goes around turn 1. And up towards turn 2 we go. Oliver Rowland currently starts. He'll be the one setting the benchmark of time for everybody to beat, as Hülkenberg and Vettel, luckily for them, aren't getting held up by Rowland, because so far Rowland has not had the best of sessions at Paul Ricard, and so far here in the ref, he does a 25.3 in the first sector there. As we go down towards the turn number 6 now then, a very controversial corner for Schumacher and Villeneuve back in 1997, nearly 21 years ago now that occurred. But Rowland now then just swooping around the flat out left-hander through the next corner on the track as we go up towards the double right-hander. And Rowland, let's see what his second split is. It's a 48.728 for Ollie Rowland as he now goes up towards the bus stop chicane. Through the right, left, and then right he goes. And we'll be able to see soon what Oliver Rowland can manage then on this lap. Up towards the final corner then goes the young Brit, and let's see what Roland can achieve then. Down the pit straight he goes, and what's the target time going to be? He crosses the line, and it is a 1 minute 19.223. Hulkenberg beats that to go to the top. Sebastian Vettel then goes fastest by 700 of a second. So Vettel beating his teammate. Lewis Hamilton goes even quicker than that. Goes up to the top by 0.6 of a second. Hamilton fastest at this stage. Palmer goes into 5th. Giovinazzi goes 5th there in the Bud Light Line Motorsport. Armstrong goes to 4th. Jean-Eric Vergne goes to 4th with that lap in the GRM. Here comes Romain Grosjean then, heading down the pitch straight. He goes to 2nd with that lap, so P2 for Romain Grosjean. 6th place for Sacha Fenestraz. Nick de Vries goes into 4th in the Martini. 9th for Nico Kari. Kimi Räikkönen slots to 9th as well, as Brendan Hartley's currently 7 tenths down in the second sector there. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody's starting to do a second lap, and some of them might, and probably the odd one, will probably dive back into the pits after just one flying lap now then, because we saw that quite a bit yesterday as well. As going through the final corner then goes Sacha Fenestraz as he heads... Sorry, not Sacha Fenestraz. Brendan Hartley heading down the pit straight. And he goes to 12th just in front of Antonio Giovinazzi, his teammate, doing another lap. Roland currently in front of Hartley at this stage as he just negotiates through the bus stop chicane now. Then up towards the final corner then goes the young Brit heading through the final corner. And Roland, is he going to be improving, or is this just going to be perhaps a mileage run for Ollie across the line? And no, he does not improve and stays in 11th. Hulkenberg doesn't improve either, nor does Sebastian Vettel. He stays 3rd. Hamilton doesn't improve. He stays on a 1 minute 18.132, which I believe is the fastest time so far of the weekend. I could be wrong. I don't know if Vettel set just a faster time than that yesterday, but I think they both did at 1 minute 18.1, so it's pretty close between Hamilton and Vettel there. Giovinazzi doesn't improve, nor does Armstrong, nor does Vergne. Grosjean doesn't improve where he is at the moment. Sacha Fenestraz does not improve as well. He stays in 7th place in the Mars. Nick de Vries staying in 4th place. Nico Kari doesn't improve, and nor does teammate Kimi Räikkönen. And Hartley doesn't look like he's on improving, as he's 9 tenths down in the second sector there compared to Lewis Hamilton, as he just negotiates out of that bus stop chicane now then. Up towards the final corner then goes the Kiwi, and let's see if he's able to improve. The Season 3 IFMC GP2 champion just comes out of the final corner, and onto the pit straight we go. And Hartley is going to cross the line, and he does not improve and stays in 12th place. And so that's that. And I believe all these guys have got the pit symbol next to their name, which they do. So they'll be coming back into the pits this lap, as Roland just flicks the car to the left, and he'll be joined by the 2 EMRs that came out behind him as well, as going trundling down pit lane now then. And Roland just looking for his pit box, and well, we hope to wait for some more track activity. I don't know why those graphics are there, because I do have some unless that's just normal for I don't know why those pit boards are there, those pit boxes are there, because well, they shouldn't be there, mainly because I've got custom graphics, so for some reason on this track it prevents it, which is a bit odd. But I do have some graphics lined up. I don't know why they haven't got onto this game, but oh well. As now going up towards the next few corners on the track, and Hartley preparing to start his next lap then. Sorry, to go back into the pits, I should say. Is anybody now out on track? Yes, somebody's coming out, and that's Sam Bird in the shadow. So Bird coming out onto the track, as it looks like the 2 Eldorados are also coming out at the same time, that being Power and Dixon. Dixon driving the Eldorado for today, and so Dixon driving that today, and Power for the 2nd day in a row driving the car as well. So none of the main drivers taking the seats today at Eldorado, as now Bird preparing to start his first flying lap as he heads down the back straight towards the right-hander. So through the right-hander then goes Bird, as Dixon now then is about to start his lap as well. We also have Will Power preparing to start his as he goes through the right-hander. Daniel Ricciardo out on track in the Etihad. In the 3rd time he's been in the Etihad car throughout the 2 weekends at Paul Ricard and the ref. So Ricciardo out there now then In the Etihad, George Russell out on track as well for Martini, as is Romain Grosjean. Antonio Felix da Costa out on track as well, as Mick Schumacher's out there, as is Marcus Armstrong, Pascal Wehrlein, Lewis Hamilton back out onto the track, as is De Vries, Verne, and Vettel expected to come back out as well. But now Bird is just coming down the pit straight, and Bird then is just starting his lap now then, as Verne, luckily for him, didn't get held up. Vettel, as you can see on the right hand side, just coming out of pit lane. And so here comes Bird then, up through turn 2 we go, and we'll be able to see what his first sector is going to curtail. The Brit now then just swooping around the left-hander now then, and now up towards turn 5 we go. Just a tap on the brakes through here, and he's 3 tenths down in the first sector compared to Lewis Hamilton. As going up now towards the hairpin now then goes Sam Bird, as he just flicks the car in, using as much of the curve as possible. And now through the left-hander then goes Bird. And now Bird now then just swooping the car in. And let's see what Bird can achieve now then. He's 6 tenths down in the second sector. That time around was Bird. And now through that right-hander now then up towards the bus stop chicane. And so Bird now then, let's see what his first flying lap is going to be like, and didn't look like he's going to get held up then. So up towards the final corner goes Sam Bird. Let's see what the time is going to be. Down the pit straight then goes Sam Bird, and across the line he goes. What's the time? And he goes into 9th for that lap, so it's P9 for Sam Bird. Here comes Scott Dixon in the Eldorado. What can he manage? Across the line he goes, and goes to 12th with that lap. Vettel starting another lap. Power, meantime, crosses the line. He slots to 17th. I don't know whether Vettel compromised his lap at the beginning, because Vettel came out of the pit lane. But here comes Daniel Ricciardo then in the Etihad. Across the line he goes, and he goes to 2nd with that lap. So it's a 1-2 for Etihad. It's pit 1 and 2 for Hamilton and Ricciardo at this stage, as we now look at George Russell, who just comes out of the hairpin. Russell now then across the line, and he goes to 4th with that lap. So it's P4 for George Russell. Grosjean doesn't improve and stay in 3rd. Here comes Antonio Felix da Costa in the GRM, and he goes to 11th, so just outside the top 10, behind Marcus Armstrong at the moment. So Armstrong and Fenestraz both doing a good job in the Mars Grand Prix car at this stage. I don't know whether most of them got held up on the lap, but here comes Mick Schumacher then in the AMP, as he just negotiates out of the final corner. Across the line then goes Schumacher, and let's see what the time's going to be. He goes to 11th. Armstrong, meantime, doesn't improve and stays 10th. Wehrlein goes to 19th for that lap. Hamilton doesn't improve and stays where he is. Nick De Vries goes up to 5th with that lap, so it's 4 and 5 for Martini at this stage. Here comes Jean-Éric Vergne then. Through the final corner he goes, and Vergne now then is going to cross the line. Bird's about to complete a 2nd lap. Is Vergne going to be on for an improvement? He says he goes up to 8th place with that lap, or stays in 8th but improves his best time. Bird on the meantime doesn't improve, as we now look at Scott Dixon, who now crosses the line, and he doesn't improve. Sebastian Vettel staying in 6th place as an improvement for power, but he stays in 20th with that lap. Here comes Daniel Ricciardo now then, heading down the pit straight, and Ricciardo does not improve on that lap and stays where he is. As we look at Russell now then, who just comes out of the hairpin. Russell is going to cross the line, and he does not improve. Grosjean doesn't improve either. He stays 3rd, as here comes Antonio Felix da Costa. Across the line he goes, and he stays 12th for the meantime. As we now look at Marcus Armstrong. Through the right hand he goes, and up towards the final corner. Armstrong currently in the top 10 at the minute. But I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of guys start to improve, because there's a lot of guys who are 1 second off the pace, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's not their true pace, as Armstrong crosses the line and doesn't improve and stays in 10th. Wehrlein doesn't either. Hamilton goes back into the pits. Here's Vergne now then, up towards the final corner. And let's see what he's able to do, as he's now going to where is he? Crossed the line, and no improvement for Vergne. Stays in P number 8 with that lap. Here comes Sebastian Vettel in the EMR. Vettel now then, across the line goes the German. Is this going to be an improvement for him? It isn't. He stays 6th for the meantime, so still P6 is Sebastian Vettel, just in front of teammate Hulkenberg. So obviously he was held up a little bit by the 2 Eldorados, which obviously didn't help the German in a way. But outstart really, as now everybody is in the pit lane at this stage, as Da Costa now then goes up towards the final corner, and he just goes into the pits actually, so Da Costa is in. And Verne now then just negotiates through the right-hander. Vettel going back into the pits this lap, and so he just goes around the right-hander. Grosjean currently up in third place at the moment in the Bud Light line, so he's doing quite a good job. He obviously had the one good day in Paul Ricard, and that was also on day 2 as well, so it seems to be a day 2 thing possibly for Romain Grosjean, where he starts up the pace. Maybe Bud Light Lime opting quite a similar sort of tactic around this track, so but who knows really, as now Vettel just goes around these section of corners, and now through the corner he goes now then, up towards the pits he goes, and into the pits goes Vettel, as his teammate Hulkenberg is now out on track, currently in 7th place at the moment, as he just goes out of the second double right-hander there. Through the bus stop chicane goes Hulkenberg, as we've had nearly 14 minutes gone. So far here's what the leaderboard currently looks like. It's Hamilton at the top with Ricciardo second, Grosjean third, Russell fourth, De Vries in fifth, Vettel sixth, Hulkenberg seventh, and then it is Verne in eighth, with Fenestraz in ninth, Armstrong 10th, Schumacher 11th, Da Costa 12th, Bird 13th, Raikkonen 14th, Kari 15th, Dixon in 16th, Rowland 17th, Hartley 18th, Verline 19th, Power 20th, Giovinazzi 21st, and Palmer in 22nd position. As through turn 2 then goes Nico Hulkenberg, as he just negotiates through turn 3 now then. Hulkenberg now then through turn 4 and up towards turn 5 he goes. Let's see what his first sector is going to be like, and he is 1/10 down in the first sector compared to Lewis Hamilton, as he now goes up towards the hairpin now then, the right-hander. Around the corner he goes, using a lot of the curb there on the left-hand side there, as he just flicked through the double left-hander. And let's see what Hulkenberg can manage on this lap, and he's 2/10 down in the second sector. It looks like Hulkenberg is on for an improvement, but let's see now then. Hulkenberg just going out of the second right-hander there, up towards the bus stop chicane, and let's see what Hulkenberg can do now then, as he just goes out of that bus stop chicane, up towards the hairpin he goes, and Hulkenberg is going to cross the line quite soon now then. Out of the final corner and onto the pit straight goes the German, and across the line then goes Nico Hulkenberg. Is it an improvement? It is. Hulkenberg goes up to third with that lap, so up to P3 goes Nico Hulkenberg, 3/10 off Lewis Hamilton there, as Dixon and Bird and Da Costa starts the laps. We now look at Nico Kari in the Suomi, as he just goes through the bus stop, and so through the corner then he goes, and let's see what Kari's lap is going to be like. Up towards the final corner goes De Jong Finn, and down the pit straight we go, and Kari is now going to cross the line, and this is going to be an improvement. It is. He goes up to 9th for that lap, so up to P9 goes Nico Kari. Oliver Rowland stays where he is at the moment, which is P17. Will Palmer now then, out the final corner he goes, and Palmer is going to cross the line, and he goes up to 19th for that lap, so an improvement for him. Schumacher starts the lap, as does teammate Verline, and Power also starting one. Here comes Daniel Ricciardo then, who's currently in second. Can he try and cut the gap between himself and teammate Hamilton for today? Ricciardo now then heading down the pit straight, and across the line he goes, and he doesn't improve. He stays in second with that lap, does Daniel Ricciardo, as Brendan Hartley now then crosses the line, and he improves to 16th with that lap. Russell doesn't improve and stays 5th. As now out of the final corner then goes Antonio Giovinazzi. He's currently down in last place, so is this an improvement? It is. He goes up to 8th, so up to P8 goes Antonio Giovinazzi. Hulkenberg doesn't improve, he stays where he is at the moment. Here comes Sam Bird in the shadow, and across the line he goes up to 14th, so a lot of improvements coming in. Dixon goes up to 12th, so up to 12th place goes the Kiwi, as we now look at Antonio Felix da Costa now then, who approaches the final corner. And let's see what the Portuguese driver can do. Da Costa currently in 16th place. Is this going to be an improvement for Da Costa? Across the line he goes, and no, it's not. Stays 16th with that lap. Here comes Nico Kari now then, heading down the pit straight, and across the line he goes to stay in 10th place. Rowland, can he improve in the Monster? And no, he can't. Stays in 17th, or I should say 19th. as Palmer goes out the final corner. Schumacher about to complete a lap behind him. Look like A&P got both of the guys out at the same time. Palmer stays where he is. Schumacher doesn't improve and stays in 14th. What about Pascal Wehrlein, who's down in 21st? Is this going to be an improvement then for the young German? And it is. He goes up to 10th. So Wehrlein in the top 10. Power goes up to 13th for that lap. Daniel Ricciardo, nope, not able to improve. Stays in 2nd. So it's still an Etihad 1-2 at this stage. Hartley now then is going to cross the line. And he stays in 20th position as Russell goes back into the pits. Here comes Antonio Giovinazzi now then, who heads down the pit straight. And across the line goes Antonio, and no improvement for him. He stays P8. On the road, as we've got a pullover. In fact, somebody's pulled off to the side of the track, and it's Sam Bird. He looks like he's got a transmission problem, and he's whacked it in the wall there. And, well, Sam Bird has gone off the track. He's ripped a wheel off with transmission problem, and clearly the speed sort of got him there. And if he's lucky enough, can he get the car into the pits? No, he's pulled it off. Luckily for him, he hasn't got that far to walk. But Bird has pulled off with a transmission problem, and it looks like he's going to have to get into the T car, because that's a lot of damage that the team are going to have to repair. Luckily for Da Costa, he's not going into the pits. He's completing another lap, but I think it'd be a little bit of a compromise for people going into the pits, because he's pulled off right there. But it looks like they've cleared him quite quickly now. Then the cranes have hoisted him up quite quickly. Grand Prix free physics right there. Da Costa doesn't improve and stays 18th with that lap then. As there goes Mick Schumacher then through the final 2 corners on the track. As through into the pits there goes Will Palmer, I believe it was. No, it was Sam Bird actually. Schumacher then around the final corner. Schumacher currently in 16th, but across the line he goes. Is this going to be an improvement? And no, it's not. Stays in 16th. Did his teammate stay out? Yes, his teammate did stay out. Is it an improvement for him? No, stays in 10th, so he's still in the cusp of the top 10, as Power stays 13th with that lap. And so let's see then, as Verne goes out onto the track, as does Sacha van der Straat. And so Verne now then just goes around the left-hander as he prepares to start his next flying lap. Through the right-hander then goes the Frenchman, who ride on board with Jean-Eric Verne, who heads down the back straight towards the right-hander. Verne now then preparing to start his next flying lap. Out the corner he goes and up towards the double left-hander as Verne prepares to start his next flying lap. Through the left-hander he goes, going as fast as possible as we go up towards the double right-hander. Verne now then going through the corner as he heads now up towards the bus stop chicane through the right, left and then right-hander. Verne now then preparing to start a lap as he now comes up towards the final corner. And Jean-Eric Verne now then about to start his next flying lap. Going down the pit straight he goes, and Verne is going to cross the line to start his lap. And now going up towards turn 1 now then. There's a few cars in the background coming out on track. Look like an Eldorado and a Suomi that was coming out. And now through turn 2 we go. So far Verne currently in 9th place for the minute. We've already had just over 20 minutes of this session gone. And we have just over 39 minutes of the session remaining. Verne now then just swooping around the right-hander now then as he goes down the back straight. 3/10 down the first sector goes Jean-Eric Verne as he goes up towards turn number 6 on the track. And so far looks like Hamilton's back out at the moment. The man that's at the top, Hulkenberg's out there, as is Grosjean, De Vries. Vettel's just come out as well. We know Verne is out there. Kari, Fenestraz, Armstrong, Raikkonen and Palmer are currently out there on track at the minute. And have they been joined by anybody else since I've mentioned those? They might have done, but I'm not going to go through it again. That's Verne now then. Through the bus stop chicane he goes, using all the curb on the left hand side there. Up towards the final corner then goes the Frenchman. And let's see what Jean-Eric Verne can do then on this lap as he heads down the pit straight and across the line he goes. And Verne, is this going to be an improvement? It's not. He stays in 9th place. Sacha Fenestraz stays in 12th. So far Mars doing quite a decent job today. Fenestraz in 12th and Armstrong in 15th. Is Kari now then heading down the pit straight to start his lap. And so now Hamilton's also starting here. So we now look then at Kimi Räikkönen in the Suomi. Hulkenberg's just behind him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on a lap. Räikkönen then feeding the car through Lorenzo corner now then. Heading down the pit straight, and across the line goes Räikkönen, and he goes up to 5th for that lap. So up to P5 goes Kimi Räikkönen. A very good time from the Suomi as Hulkenberg starts his lap. Vettel also starting one as well. De Vries doesn't improve and stays 7th. And Grosjean improves to go up to 3rd place, so he gets back in front of Hulkenberg. So back up to 3rd place goes Romain Grosjean with that lap. Armstrong now then heading down the pit straight, and across the line he goes, and Armstrong stays in 16th as Verne on a 2nd flying lap, 7 tenths down. Doesn't look to be on improvement, probably just getting the miles in for GRM as we ride on board with the Frenchman. Heading through the section of corners now then. Up towards the final corner goes Jean-Eric Verne. And let's see what he's able to do then. Round the final corner and onto the pit straight goes Verne. And he's now going to cross the line. And Verne, no improvement for him. He stays in 9th place, or in 10th place I should say. As Fenestraz doesn't improve. As Giovinazzi just started the lap, as is Hartley. Kari, meantime, doesn't improve, stays where he is. Here comes Lewis Hamilton. Can he improve on his 1 minute 18.132? And he can. It's a 1 minute 18.007. That's the fastest time so far this weekend. Hamilton nearing the 1 minute 17 barrier now, as Will Palmer doesn't improve and stays in 22nd. So now he's 2 tenths clear of today's teammate Ricciardo. Raikkonen doesn't improve and stays in 5th. Hulkenberg stays in 4th. Here comes Sebastian Vettel. He improves to go to 4th with that lap. So up to P4 goes Sebastian Vettel. Nick De Vries stays in 8th with that lap. As here comes Romain Grosjean. He stays 3rd for the meantime. As now here comes Armstrong. Through the final corner he goes as he heads down the pit straight. Armstrong now then going to cross the line, and Armstrong staying in where was he at the moment? Stays in 16th. Verne going back in as we look at Antonio Giovinazzi, who's 8 tenths down in the 2nd sector, so he doesn't appear to be on improvement. Giovinazzi currently in 9th place at this stage. So Giovinazzi just feeding the car through the bus stop chicane there. As he now goes up towards the final corner as the Mars Grand Prix car in front of him, I believe it was Fenestraz, has just gone into the pits. Out of the final corner then goes Giovinazzi, and across the line then goes the young Italian. And does he improve? No, he doesn't. He stays in 9th place with that lap. Here comes Brendan Hartley, who heads down the pit straight, and Hartley crosses the line and improves but stays in 20th. Kari staying where he is, which is P12. Hamilton doesn't improve, so there's a 1 minute 18.007. Here comes Will Palmer in the shadow, and across the line he goes, currently last and stays in last at the moment in 22nd position. Here comes Ollie Rowland now then, and he improves but stays 21st with that lap. Hulkenberg stays in 5th in the EMR. As we look at Hartley then, who just flicks the car through the right-hander, and he's 4 tenths down in the 1st sector, and currently on the lap is his teammate. I think that is behind. No, it's Kari. Hartley is probably behind both Hamilton and Kari at this stage. That's now riding on board with the Season 3 IFMC GP2 champion, Brendan Hartley, as he now just negotiates through the left-hander, and his 1st sector is 9 tenths down in the 1st sector. So Hartley then just flicking the car in. He will now go up towards the bus stop chicane, feeding the car in through the right, left, and then right-hander. And so now through the 2nd to last corner, as we now go up towards the final corner then on the track, and let's see what Hartley can produce as it just goes out of the final corner. Onto the pit straight then goes Brendan Hartley, and across the line he goes, and no improvement for him. He stays where he is at the present moment. Ricciardo goes back out onto the track, and we've also have a loss of front wing. Kari has lost his front wing for some reason. He doesn't appear to have made any contact with anyone. It must be that Kari must have gone straight on somewhere, so he's lost a bit of his front wing, and that's not going to help him out at all. So Kari's going to have to get that repaired when he's in the pits. So a change of nose cone will be in order then for Nico Kari, as we now look at Ollie Rowland in the Monster, who just heads down the pit straight himself, and Rowland is going to cross the line, and he does not improve. He stays in 21st. As Sam Bird has gone out onto the track. So, with nearly half an hour of the session gone, here is what the leaderboard currently looks like. As we look at Sam Bird, Lewis Hamilton at the top, Daniel Ricciardo second, Romain Grosjean third, Sebastian Vettel fourth, Nico Hülkenberg in fifth, Kimi Räikkönen in sixth, George Russell seventh, Nick de Vries in eighth, Antonio Giovinazzi in ninth, with Jean-Eric Vergne in 10th, Pascal Wehrlein 11th, Nico Carvi 12th, Sacha Fenestraz in 13th, Will Power 14th, Scott Dixon 15th, Marcus Armstrong in 16th, Mick Schumacher 17th, Sam Bird in 18th, Antonio Felix da Costa 19th, Brendan Hartley in 20th, Oliver Rowland in 21st, and Will Palmer in 22nd position. As luckily for Bird there, da Costa didn't come out right in front of him there. We're right on board then with Sam Bird, who just negotiates through these section of corners then, as he goes up towards the quick right-hander on the track. His first sector is 6/10 down, and so far he's currently set the same time as Schumacher at the moment. Schumacher also 1.070 behind Hamilton, as it is Sam Bird, but as you saw there, Bird 6/10 down in the first sector there, as he just negotiates through the section of corners. And let's see what Bird can do. Just going out of that left-hander through towards the double right-hander. 1.1 seconds down is Bird, so it doesn't look like the Bird is going to be on for an improvement this lap. We ride on board with the Brit now then, as he negotiates through the bus stop chicane, the former GB Racing driver that used to be around in Season 1 before they folded at the end of the season. But Bird now then goes up towards the final corner, and Bird is going to cross the line, and let's see what he's able to produce on this lap. He crosses the line, and no improvement for Bird. He stays where he is at the moment, P18. Dixon behind, starting a lap. A couple of cars are waiting to go out onto the track. Grosjean and Wehrlein preparing to start a lap, as we now look at Daniel Ricciardo in the Etihad. He's currently in second, 2 tenths behind Lewis Hamilton, as he goes through the last 2 corners on the track. And let's see what Danny Rick can do. The Honey Badger now then is going down the pit straight, and across the line goes the Australian, and no improvement for the Australian. He stays in second place with that lap, as Räikkönen prepares to start his next flying lap. As we now look at George Russell then, who goes up towards the next chicane. We ride on board with the young Brit in the Martini, as he just negotiates through these final few corners. Then up towards the final corner goes George Russell, and he's opening in front. Da Costa, I think it's Da Costa, doesn't hold him up. No, it's Jean-Eric Vergne, I do apologise. The Frenchman, Jean-Eric Vergne, is in front of Russell. Russell crosses the line, no improvement, stays in 7th place that lap. Mick Schumacher stays where he is at the moment, which is P number 17. As here comes Antonio Felix da Costa, exiting the final corner. And so now da Costa is going to cross the line himself, and he improves to go up to 16th. So an improvement there for da Costa. Bird stays where he is, which is 19th, as Dixon stays as well where he is, which is P15. Here comes Romain Grosjean, currently 3rd. Is this going to be an improvement? It's not. He stays P3 with that lap. Pascal Wehrlein crosses the line, and he improves to go up to 11th. So up to P11 goes Pascal Wehrlein, as we now look at Ricciardo again, who just enters the final corner, and onto the pit straight he goes. Ricciardo is going to cross the line, and he stays in 2nd place with that lap then, as we look at Kimi Räikkönen and Suomi. Räikkönen currently in 6th at this stage, and appears to be, so far during these 2 weekends, seems to be dragging the car into those places. He was kind of doing that last season as well, but Räikkönen appearing to do the same this season, because it seems that Magnussen, Kari, Kajala and Vinio appear to be struggling at the moment. Power goes up to 9th, so an improvement for him. De Vries has just started a lap, as we now go and look at Sacha Fenestraz. And so far, De Vries coming in 8th. Fenestraz crosses the line, no improvement for him, stays in 14th at this stage. Armstrong starting the lap. Vergne stays in P11 at the moment. Russell staying where he is, which is P7. Schumacher doesn't improve and stays 18th at this stage, as we look at Scott Dixon heading towards the final corner he goes. And heading down the pit straight and across the line then goes Scott Dixon. Is this going to be an improvement? It isn't. He stays in 15th for that lap. As Grosjean meantime looking to try and improve. The Frenchman crosses the line and he doesn't. He stays third as Verline crosses the line and stays in 12th. Ricciardo going back in. We look back at Kimi Räikkönen at the moment as he just approaches the bus stop chicane. And through he goes. And Räikkönen currently 6th for the moment, just in front of the two Martinis at this stage of Russell and De Vries. Again, don't expect too much from the test drivers. They aren't the usual drivers as well. But so far, especially at Paul Ricard, team boss Cameron Anderson appeared to be quite impressed with Russell, Norris and De Vries in terms of their paces. So he seemed to be pretty impressed with what they were able to perform in the Martini. De Vries stays in 8th with that lap. As now Power staying in 9th place with that time now then, as we look at Sacha Fenestraz, who heads down the pit straight and across the line he goes. Fenestraz staying in 14th, Armstrong stays 17th, Verne staying in 11th with that lap, as Dixon just negotiating through that corner. We look at De Vries now then. De Vries is currently down in the first sector there. He's currently in 8th place at the moment as we now go up towards the right-hander. And De Vries preparing to complete his lap if he can. Through the next few corners on the track as we have just over 28 minutes to go in this session. As he just negotiates through the section of corners up towards the double right-hander we go. 8 tenths down in the second sector goes Nick De Vries now then. Out of the corner heading towards the bus stop chicane on the track. Through he goes, through the right, left and then right he goes. As he now just goes through the final 2 corners on the track. De Vries is going to come up towards the final corner. And now he heads down the pit straight. De Vries now then, across the line he goes. And is he going to improve? Nope, stays in P8 with that lap, still in front of Will Power. At this stage, as we look at Marcus Armstrong, thought for a minute he was holding up Verne, but Verne's going into the pit. Out of the final corner then goes Marcus Armstrong, as he now is going to power across the line, and he stays where he is at the moment, which is P number 17, so still 17th for Marcus Armstrong. Here comes Nico Kari about to start a lap. Anybody else on the lap? Nope. So we go to Nico Kari then, I think. Yeah, we'll go to Kari as Hamilton also behind him starts a lap. So far Hamilton at the top with a 1 minute 18.007, the fastest time we've seen so far throughout the course of the weekend. Hamilton was the quickest throughout the course of the Paul Ricard weekend, and so far at the moment appears to be doing the same here at RF. And as you can see now then, Kari approaching the right-hander now then. See his first sector is going to be like, he's 3 tenths down in the first sector then. As he heads down towards turn 6, the sparks coming off the back of his Suomi there. As he just goes through the right-hander up towards the left-hander, then goes Nico Kari. And now up towards the next section of corners. Kari then, let's see what his second sector is like. And he's 6 tenths down in the second sector. As he goes through the double right-hander then on the track. Up towards the bus stop chicane then goes Kari. Through the right, left and then right we go. Just over 26 minutes left in the session as we go through the final 2 corners on the track. Up towards the final corner. And now we head down the pit straight. Sorry, my voice broke there. That was kind of weird. As now Kari crosses the line and he improves to go up to 12th place with that lap. Hamilton doesn't improve, stays on 1 minute 18.007. As now Roland goes up towards the final corner to start his next flying lap. Here comes Sebastian Vettel now then in the EMR. Currently in 4th place at the minute, but is this going to be an improvement then for the German? As he heads out of the final corner and onto the pit straight. Vettel across the line he goes, and no, he doesn't improve. Stays in 4th place with that lap then, as Hartley prepares to start a lap, as does Daniel Ricciardo. Here comes Nico Hulkenberg then, who goes up towards the final corner onto the pit straight then goes Hulkenberg, and across the line he goes. No improvement, stays in P5. He finished 5th yesterday. Looks like it's going to be another 5th at this stage, but we've still got over 25 minutes to go in this session. And across the line goes Will Palmer, and he stays in 22nd. Dixon starting a lap. Giovinazzi stays 10th with that lap. As we look back now then at Nico Kari, who just approaches the bus stop chicane. And let's see what the young Finn can achieve through the final 2 corners. Then we go. Kari about to finish off his lap in the Ferrari powered Suomi through the final corner and onto the pit straight we go, and Kari is going to cross the line and he stays 12th with that lap. Hamilton doesn't improve, stays on a 1 minute 18.007. Here comes Ollie Rowland then, who goes up towards the final corner, and Rowland is now going to cross the line himself. And let's see if Ollie is going to improve, and he does not improve and stays in 21st position. Vettel crosses the line and he stays in 4th place. Here comes Brendan Hartley now then, who comes down the pit straight. Across the line then goes the Kiwi, and no improvement for Hartley. He stays in 20th. Ricciardo meantime, can he improve? Nope, stays in 2nd place. As Hulkenberg now then in the EMR stays 5th with that lap. DaCosta starting the lap. We now look back at Will Palmer in the shadow as he heads down the pit straight himself. Palmer crosses the line and stays in 22nd at the moment, so still last. Dixon stays where he is at the moment, which is P15. Giovinazzi stays 10th. Russell stays 7th for the meantime, as we now look at Sam Bird heading out of the final corner. And across the line goes Bird then in the shadow, and he improves to go up to 14th for that lap, so an improvement there for Sam Bird. As now Brendan Hartley approaches through the left-hander, and Hartley goes through the double right. He's 1.1 seconds off in the 2nd sector there, so it doesn't look like the Season 3 GP2 champion is going to improve on this lap unless he pulls some form of miracle in the last sector. Of course, Hartley now then negotiating through the bus stop chicane, and let's see what Hartley is able to do on this lap. Up towards the final corner then goes Brendan Hartley as he heads down the pit straight, and across the line he goes now then, and this is going to be an improvement. It isn't. He stays where he is at the moment, which is P20. Ricciardo stays 2nd with that lap, as now we look at Antonio Felix da Costa, who's taking Ricciardo's seat for today. Ricciardo will be back in the GOM on day 4, but he will be in the Etihad tomorrow as well, will Ricciardo, but this time alongside Fernando Alonso instead of Lewis Hamilton. Verline doesn't improve, nor did da Costa that time around. Dixon stays in P16 with that lap. As now we look at Sam Bird, who heads up towards the final corner, and onto the pit straight goes the Brit, and across the line he will go, and no improvement, stays 14th with that lap there then. As there goes da Costa then, 5 tenths down in the 1st sector, as he will now go up towards turn 6 on the track. And let's see what he's able to do then, as he'll now go up towards the next section of corners. And da Costa now then flying around the left-hander, then up towards the double right. And as you can see, 1 second down in the 2nd sector then goes da Costa as he goes through the bus stop chicane. And let's see what da Costa is able to manage as he goes up towards the final corner. And let's see what the Portuguese driver is able to achieve then, as he heads down the pit straight, and across the line goes da Costa, and he stays where he is at the moment, which is P number 17. So that's that, as we look at Sacha Fenestraz, who just goes around the last few corners on the track to prepare for his lap. And let's see if anybody's on the lap. It doesn't appear like it, so here comes Sacha then, who just exits out of the final corner as he now starts his lap. Heading down the pit straight we go. Run on board with Sacha Fenestraz. It goes up towards turn 1 then on the track. Through the first few corners on the track. Up towards turn 2 we go. As he'll just flip the car through turn 3 now, then up towards turn 4. And Fenestraz will be completing the first sector now then. Just over 20 minutes now left in this session. As Sacha Fenestraz is 4 tenths down in the first sector there. So far then, with just over 20 minutes to go, here is what the leaderboard currently looks like. It is Hamilton at the top, Ricciardo 2nd, Grosjean 3rd, Vettel 4th, Hülkenberg 5th, with Raikkonen 6th, Russell 7th, De Vries in 8th, Power 9th, Giovinazzi 10th, Vergne 11th, Kari 12th, with Verline 13th, Bird 14th, Fenestraz 15th, Dixon 16th, Da Costa 17th, Armstrong 18th, Schumacher 19th, Hartley 20th, Rowland 21st, and Palmer in 22nd position. So that's how the leaderboard currently stands at this stage. As Fenestraz now then approaches the bus stop chicane, and let's see what the Frenchman is able to do as he goes up towards the final corner. Through the final corner there and onto the pit straight goes Fenestraz as he will now cross the line. Fenestraz, is this going to be an improvement for him? And it isn't. He stays in P15 with that lap, as it looks like Vettel was just come out in front of him in the EMR. It looked like there was a German flag on the helmet there. I believe that is Vettel. As now Vergne now then approaches the final corner himself, and let's see what he is able to do. Vergne now then across the line he goes, and he stays, and in fact he goes up to 10th in fact, so a big improvement there for Jean-Eric Vergne to get himself in the top 10. Power improves to go up into 7th, so up to P7 goes Will Power, pushing Russell and De Vries down to 8th and 9th. Schumacher crosses the line, he improves to go up to 17th that lap, so the track starts to resume. We're seeing some improvements being done around the track. Here comes Nick De Vries, who just enters the final corner. I don't know if he got held up on his lap there, because he's got a load of cars surrounding him on the track. De Vries crosses the line, and no improvement for him. He stays 9th with that lap. Raikkonen stays in 6th with that lap. Hülkenberg starting the lap, as will Vettel. Sacha Fenestraz on another lap, 1.5 seconds down in the second sector, so he's way off the pace. I don't know if that had anything to do with Vettel coming out in front of him on the track, as he just approaches the bus stop chicane now. Then Fenestraz about to finish his second lap on this run that he's doing. His second flying lap on this run, I should say. Up towards the final corner then goes Fenestraz. And let's see if this is going to be an improvement. We are 11 minutes away from the 2 o'clock mark. As Fenestraz now then crosses the line, and 2.1 seconds off, got way held up on that lap and stays in 15th place. We look back at Jean-Eric Vergne in the GRM. Let's see what Vergne can do. Through the final corner he goes and onto the pit straight, and Vergne is now going to cross the line. And let's see what he's able to do. He stays in 10th, no improvement for Vergne. Power, meantime, stays 7th. Here comes Romain Grosjean across the line, stays in 3rd with that lap. Here comes Mick Schumacher. Down the pit straight he goes, and Schumacher crosses the line, stays 17th. Kari now then, through the final corner he goes. Let's see what Nico Kari can do. And Lewis Hamilton currently behind him as well. Kari crosses the line and stays where he is. Hamilton doesn't improve, says on 1 minute 18.007. De Vries doesn't improve, nor does Armstrong. Raikkonen doesn't improve either. Giovinazzi about to start lap. Here comes Nico Hülkenberg then in the EMR. He just approaches the final corner. His teammate behind him is also on a lap. Hülkenberg now then out of the final corner, and Nico is going to cross the line and stays where he is at the moment, which is P number 5. Here's Sebastian Vettel then, his teammate, heading in towards the final corner. And Vettel now then is going to cross the line. Is this going to be an improvement then for Seb? And no, it's not. Stays 4th with that lap, does Sebastian Vettel. As we look at Palmer now then in the shadow, who heads down the pit straight. And Palmer stays in 20 seconds, still in last place behind fellow compatriot Ollie Rowland. As now Kari just negotiates through this double right-hander. He's 8 tenths down in the second sector there. Hamilton also on another lap. I think these two are just possibly just gathering mileage up on this lap, as Kari just negotiates through the bus stop chicane. And let's see what the young Finn is able to do, as he will now approach the final corner, and Kari is then going to cross the line. So heading down the pit straight himself. Kari now then across the line. Is this going to be an improvement for Nico? And no, stays in 12th place. Hamilton doesn't improve, stays on a 1 minute 18.007. As Armstrong staying where he is at the moment, which is P number 19. And as we now look at Antonio Giovinazzi, who heads down the pit straight. Giovinazzi crosses the line and stays in 11th place. As behind, Hulkenberg didn't improve either. Is Sebastian Vettel on another lap? Yes, he is. Here comes Vettel. Up towards the final corner he goes. I wouldn't be surprised if this is not an improvement. Maybe just a mileage run, but we'll see. Vettel now then, across the line he goes and stays in 4th place with that lap as a couple of cars in front of him just go out onto the track. Here comes Will Palmer in the shadow. He heads down the pit straight himself, and Palmer crosses the line, stays in 22nd with that lap. And so still got just over 15 minutes now left in this session. We look at Antonio Giovinazzi now in the Bud Light line. Giovinazzi currently just outside the top 10 in 11th. As Giovinazzi now then just getting the car through this left-hander and up towards the double right. 7 tenths down in the second sector goes Giovinazzi. And now let's see then what Gio is able to do as he just negotiates through the bus stop chicane. Through he goes now then, as he will now go through the last 2 corners on the track, and Giovinazzi is now going to cross the line. And Gio now then heading down the pit straight, and across the line goes Giovinazzi, and he stays where he is at the moment, which is P number 11. So that's that really. As Bird now then heads out of the final corner to start his lap. Roland about to start his. And trying to find somebody else who's on a lap. Back, not Giovinazzi, in fact he's going back in. So it'd be Bird that's on a lap, but it looks like DeCosta might have impeded him there. As DeCosta was just going out of the pits. Through turn 2 then goes Sam Bird. And he just negotiates through the section of corners. Bird now then just carrying the speed through his flat out left-hander up towards the medium speed turn 5, and he's 7 tenths down in the second sector that time around as he heads down the back straight towards the right-hander. And now let's see what Bird is able to achieve that time around now then, as he just negotiates up towards the double left-hander then, using as much of the curve as possible through the up towards the end of sector 2, as he's 1.2 seconds down in the second sector there. Bird now then just negotiating the car through into these corners now then, as he goes up towards the bus stop chicane. And Bird now then about to finish off his lap, and let's see what he is able to do. Up towards the final corner, the Lorenzo corner, goes Sam Bird. Bird is currently in 14th place. Is it going to be an improvement for him as he will now go across the line? Sam Bird, is it an improvement? And it isn't. He stays in 14th place. Roland doesn't improve and stays in 21st. As we now look at Pascal Verlaine is about to start a lap. Well, as is teammate Schumacher, he's about to start one. But now we look at Brendan Hartley, who just exits the bus stop chicane. And let's see what Brendan Hartley is able to do as he goes up towards the final corner. Just over 12 minutes to go in the session as he heads down the pit straight now then, and Hartley is going to cross the line. 5 minutes until the 2 o'clock mark. Hartley stays in 20th as Sacha Fenestras starts the lap. Here is Scott Dixon, and it looks like he's holding up Daniel Ricciardo, so Ricciardo won't be impressed by this, as Dixon now then is going to cross the line. Dixon stays in 16th. Ricciardo stays second due to the hold up from Dixon, as Will Power starts a lap as he's currently in 7th place. As we now look at George Russell, who heads out of the final corner. Russell is about to cross the line. Russell currently in 8th. Is this going to be an improvement then for the young Brit? And it is. He goes up to 6th with that lap. So up to P6 goes George Russell. A big improvement from the young Brit. He'll be driving for Red Bull Academy in GP2 this season. As now we look at Antonio Felix da Costa, who heads in towards the final corner and onto the pit straight. And Da Costa now then crosses the line. And he goes up to 15th. So a big improvement for Da Costa to get up into P15. Roland stays in 21st. As Verline now then heads down the pit straight. He stays where he is at the moment, which is P number 13. Here's his teammate for today, Mick Schumacher. He now goes up towards the final corner. And let's see what the young German can do as he heads down the pit straight. And Schumacher now then is going to cross the line. And he does not improve. He stays in 18th place for the meantime. Hartley stays 20th for that lap as here comes Sacha Fenestraz heading out of the final corner. And Fenestraz now then is going to cross the line. And he does not improve. He stays 16th for that lap. Dixon stays in 17th place. Ricardo doesn't improve, say second. Power improves but stays in 8th with that lap. Or does he lift up to 8th? No, I think he stays in 8th for that lap. I think. No, he lifts up to 8th. So up to 8th place goes Will Power. I got a little bit confused there. But George Russell stays 6th with that lap. Raikkonen just starts the lap himself. As first Verne gets the checker flag next to his lane. He doesn't improve and stays in 10th. So that lap he started will be his last. As now Grosjean heads down the pit straight. Just over 10 minutes left in the session. Grosjean gets the checker flag next to his name. He stays in 3rd with that lap. Antonio Felix da Costa now then heading down the pit straight. He stays 15th with that lap. So that's that. No improvement for Antonio Felix da Costa. As here comes Pascal Wehrlein in the AMP. He crosses the line. Wehrlein staying where he is at the moment, which is P13. As Schumacher now then heads up towards the final corner. Under 10 minutes now left in the session. We're now into the single figures when it comes to minutes. As Schumacher now then heads down the pit straight. Schumacher across the line goes the German, and he stays where he is at the moment, which is P18. So that's that for him. As Sacha Fenestraz then heads out of the final corner, and across the line goes the Frenchman. Fenestraz crosses the line, and Fenestraz stays where he is at the moment and stays in 16th place. As Power stays in P8 with that lap. And now we look at Kimi Raikkonen, who heads up towards the final corner, and let's see what Kimi can achieve as he's just over 9 minutes behind Kimi Raikkonen. Heading down the pit straight goes Kimi as he heads down towards the pit straight, and he stays where he is at the moment, which is P7. Verne staying where he is at the moment, which is P10. And so now Grosjean heads down the pit straight, and across the line goes Romain Grosjean. And he stays in 3rd place for the meantime. And as now Raikkonen heads through these next section of corners. And so now Raikkonen, let's see what his first sector is like. 3 temps down in the first sector goes Kimi as he now enters towards turn number 6. And Raikkonen so far currently 7th at the moment, just behind youngster George Russell. And the 2 men with checkered flags as their name, both coming from France, of course, that being Romain Grosjean and Jean-Eric Verne. They've both got the checkered flags next to their name. Raikkonen is 6 temps down in the second sector there. Raikkonen doesn't appear to be on an improvement unless he can hook some form of miracle up in the last sector, but we will wait and see as we now approach the bust-up chicane. And Raikkonen will be crossing the line quite soon now then, as he just negotiates up towards Lorenzo corner, which is the final corner on the track. And now down the pit straight goes Kimi Raikkonen, and he will now cross the line. And is this an improvement? It isn't. He stays P7 with that lap, and that would be that for him then as Armstrong starts his lap. As we now look at Lewis Hamilton, who's about to start the next flying lap as he's currently at the top. As Nick de Vries, he's currently 9th at the minute, as is Vettel, and Vettel is out on track, I should say, not also in 9th. Kari out there as is Giovinazzi. Raikkonen going back in as we look at Marcus Armstrong then, who's the closest guy who's on a flying lap now. Then we can view as Armstrong approaches the right-hander now. Then his first sector is 8 temps down. I don't know if anything had to do with that shadow in front of, I believe that's Will Palmer that's currently holding him up. I could be wrong, but I believe it is Palmer that's in front of him as he just negotiates through the right-hander. And so Armstrong now then through the next section of corners he goes. And let's see what his second sector's like. Sorry about that, as Armstrong now then just goes up towards the final two corners, and let's see what Marcus can do. Heading out of the final corner and onto the pit straight he goes, and Armstrong now then is going to cross the line, and Armstrong stays in 19th, and he gets a checkered flag next to his name. So that's that. As Hartley about to start his lap, here comes Lewis Hamilton. Is this going to be an improvement then for the Brit? No, it's not. Stays on the 1 minute 18.007. And so 007, James Bond, as Hulkenberg starts his lap, and as mentioned a little earlier, Armstrong has the checkered flag next to his name. We now view Nick de Vries in the Martini, as he will now cross the line. Is this going to be an improvement for him? It is. He goes up to 6, so he gets it for the teammate Russell. So up to P6 goes Nick de Vries. Vettel gets the checkered flag to his name and stays in 4th with that lap. So this lap will be his last as Bird starts a lap. Dixon just coming out of pit lane. Here comes Nico Kari then, as we have just over 5 minutes left in the session, as he now approaches the bus stop chicane now then, as we go up towards the final corner. And let's see what car we can achieve as he heads down the pit straight, and across the line goes the young Finn, and he stays where he is at the moment, which is P number 12. So, and he gets a checkered flag as well next to his name. Giovinazzi now then, across the line he goes, and he stays in P number 11. George Russell starting the lap as we look at Palmer, who just exits out of the final corner. And across the line goes the young Brit, and he gets a checkered flag but stays in 22nd, and the lap he's on will be his last. Armstrong doesn't improve and stays in 19th. Ricciardo starting another lap. So Hartley gets a checkered flag, so his name stays in 20th, no improvement. Hamilton doesn't improve, and that's his session completed because he's now got the checkered flag next to his name. He didn't improve and stays on 1 minute 18.007. Hulkenberg, checkered flag next to his name, stays in 5th. This will be his final lap. As now de Vries now then enters out of the final corner, and onto the pit straight goes the young Dutchman, and de Vries stays in 6th place. Vettel stays 4th for the meantime, as Bird crosses the line and he stays in where is he? Stays in 14th. Here comes Dixon. He starts a lap. He's currently 17th at the minute. Rowland is now going to cross the line, and Rowland stays in 21st. So if you can hear my dog again, she barks like 1-0. Nico Kari then exits out of the final corner, and Kari crosses the line, stays 12th with that lap, as here comes Antonio Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi currently in the just outside the top 10. Can he try and find some improvement? Nope, stays 11th, and that's his session completed. He gets the checkered flag next to his name. Russell stays 6th, and that's that really. I nearly got him mixed up with de Vries there. De Vries' session is coming to a close soon. Palmer on his final lap stays 22nd, so he will be last in this session. Ricciardo crosses the line, no improvement, and stays in 2nd. Only just not able to improve. He gets a checkered flag next to his name. The lap he's currently on will be his last, as Hartley stays in 20th on his final flying lap. As we look at Hulkenberg on his final flying lap, across the line goes the German, and he stays 5th. No improvement for him. And de Vries going into the pits, as is Vettel. His session has come to a close. Bird now then approaching the final corner, and let's see what the Shadow can do as he just exits out of the final corner and onto the pit straight, and across the line goes Sam Bird, and he stays where he is at the moment, which is P number 14 at this stage. Dixon crosses the line and stays where he is at the moment, which is P17, as Rowland stays at the moment where he is, which is Rowland stays where he is, P21 on the road at this stage. As now we look at George Russell, who just exits out of this corner. Russell now then approaches the final corner on the track, and let's see if Russell's on for an improvement. Russell currently in 7th place, but is this going to be an improvement for the young Brit? Across the line goes Russell, and he stays 7th with that lap, and that's his session ended because he's got the checkered flag next to his name. Ricciardo then on his final flying lap just goes out of the final corner just under 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and he doesn't improve, stays in 2nd place, and that's his session done with. So far it's looking like Etihad are going to finish 1 and 2 in this session, with Hamilton on top and Ricciardo in 2nd. Dixon, as we look at now, 9/10 down in the 2nd sector. Dixon doesn't look like he's on the improvement. He's currently on his final flying lap down in 17th at the minute. Just over 2 minutes to go now then in this session. We are expecting Dixon, of course, to have one race in the Eldorado this season. But which race we don't know, and that's obviously could have brought a little bit of questioning over Eldorado on whether they can actually trust either Sergio or Valtteri. But anyway, Dixon now then crosses the line, stays 17th, no improvement for the Kiwi. As De Costa now then is about to start his next final lap, as will Power, Wehrlein and Schumacher, and as will Fenestras, Raikkonen as well, as Roland goes back in. Only 6 more cars then, I believe, to complete flying laps, and luckily the time will run out when these guys complete the final 2 laps, because we know how X-Patch works. They are allowed to complete all their laps even after the timer has gone 0. So that's kind of that really. But De Costa now then starting his penultimate flying lap, as everybody else has checkered flags. The guys that have checkered flags on them, and he's having to swerve there because the Mars Grand Prix car came out there, so that will compromise Antonio Felix Da Costa's, not only in the first corner of his lap there, but his entire lap as well. And again, so if you can hear my dog in the background barking off, because I think the Hoover has gone off. But under a minute to go now then in the session. The guys that have got checkered flags next to their names are Hamilton, Ricciardo, Grosjean, Vettel, Hulkenberg, De Vries, Russell, Verne, Giovinazzi, Kari, Bird, Dixon, Armstrong, Hartley, Roland and Palmer. So they are the guys that have got checkered flags. De Costa there down in the 2nd sector. I didn't quite see what the number was there, as I was talking about the ones with checkered flags next to their names. Just over 30 seconds now left in the session, as De Costa then flicks the car through the left-hander, and let's see what his 2nd sector is like. He's 9/10 down in the 2nd sector. It doesn't look like De Costa's on for an improvement as a result of, I believe it was Armstrong, or was it Fenestras? It was Fenestras coming out and pretty much impeding his lap, and obviously De Costa had to swerve out of the way. But 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Checkered flag is out, and that is the end of the session. But we know how X-Patch works. These guys will be able to complete all their remaining 2 laps. De Costa crosses the line, does not improve, and is on a 2nd lap now. Then he stays 15th. Fenestras starts his next flying lap. Here comes Will Power in the Eldorado. He's currently 9th, an improvement for him. Nope, stays 9th with that lap. Gets a checkered flag next to his name. As here comes Wehrlein now then, approaching these next section of corners. Let's see what Pascal can achieve as he locks up quite heavily there into Lorenzo corner. Gets the wheels dipped a little bit there in the gravel. That will cost him time, that's for sure. A huge lockup for Pascal Wehrlein, and he stays 13th as a result. Schumacher improves and goes up to 17th with that lap, so a slight improvement for Schumacher to get himself up to P17. We now look at Kimi Raikkonen now then. He's 4/10 down in the 2nd sector. Could be on for an improvement. It just depends how he hooks up this last sector as he just goes through the bust-up chicane now then. Let's see what Kimi Raikkonen is able to do on this lap as he approaches the final corner, and Raikkonen is going to cross the line out of the final corner, and onto the pit straight goes Kimi, and he now crosses the line and does not improve, stays in 8th place, just finishing off a final lap. Then we now look at Antonio Felix Da Costa, who enters the final corner, and let's see what Da Costa is able to do then as he heads down the pit straight and across the line. Da Costa stays in 15th place. Sacha Fenestras stays in 16th, no improvement for pair of them. Power stays 9th, no improvement. Here comes Pascal Wehrlein. Then both AMPs on a 2nd flying lap, their final flying lap of the session. As now Wehrlein enters towards the final corner, and Wehrlein is now going to be soon about to cross the line, heading down the pit straight. And Verline crosses the line and no improvement. He stays 13th with that lap. Schumacher stays 17th. Here's Kimi Räikkönen. I think he's the final man on a flying lap. He is. He's 6 tenths down the second sector. So Kimi not looking like he's on an improvement. He's just probably just doing a mileage run then, I would presume, as he now heads through the bus stop chicane. And Räikkönen now then about to finish his lap then, heading out of the corner up towards the final corner. And Räikkönen now then about to complete his final flying lap. Räikkönen crosses the line. This is going to be an improvement, and no, it's not. He stays P8, and that is the end of day 2 here at the ref. So here is the results then. After day 2 here, it's Hamilton who finished fastest with Ricciardo 2nd, so an Etihad 1-2, with Grosjean 3rd, Vettel 4th, Hülkenberg 5th, De Vries in 6th, Russell 7th, Räikkönen in 8th, Power 9th, Vernon 10th, Giovinazzi in 11th, Ricciardi 12th, Verline 13th, Bird 14th, De Costa 15th, Fenestraz in 16th, Schumacher 17th, Dixon in 18th, Armstrong 19th, Hartley 20th, Rowland 21st, and Palmer in 22nd position. So we will wait for Kimi Räikkönen to go back into the pits. It will then cut to the main menu. We'll remind you of the results, and we will end this live stream here then. So Räikkönen then just goes through these next section of corners, and still putting his foot down, just probably seeing if he can get some last minute data in for Suomi Grand Prix. Any data at this point could be useful for any of the teams. As now through the bus stop chicane goes Kimi, and let's see as he now enters the pits, and there we go. It should say free practice over, and some reason it doesn't yet, and give it time though, it should. Oh, in fact that's because Fenestraz was out on track. Fenestraz didn't improve and stays in 16th place, so Fenestraz was also on a lap. I do apologise. And now it says he's back. It will now say free practice is over, and there you go then. So it's now gone back to the main menu. Fenestraz did not improve from his original position, but there you have it then, guys. That has been it. So after all of that, here is the results of day. Here is a reminder then of what the results were for day 2. Hamilton was fastest. Lewis Hamilton was fastest with Daniel Ricciardo 2nd, Romain Grosjean 3rd, Sebastian Vettel 4th, Nico Hülkenberg in 5th, Nick De Vries in 6th, George Russell 7th, Kimi Räikkönen 8th, Will Power 9th, Jean-Eric Vergne 10th, Antonio Giovinazzi 11th, Nico Kari 12th, Pascal Wehrlein 13th, Sam Bird 14th, Antonio Felix da Costa 15th, with Sacha Fenestraz 16th, Mick Schumacher 17th, Scott Dixon 18th, Marcus Armstrong 19th, Brendan Hartley 20th, Oliver Rowland 21st, and Will Palmer in 22nd position. But guys, there you have it then. That has been it from day 2 here at the ref. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been quite interesting to see with the Etihads now 1 and 2. And whether they'll be able to get their first 1-2 in the season, it remains to be seen. That's what they're hoping for. But until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you've enjoyed it. We will see you then, guys, tomorrow at the same time of 1 PM GMT for day 3 here at the ref. And hopefully we'll be in for an interesting session there as well. But until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you've enjoyed it, so thank you very much for watching. I've been JWF1, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 3 here at the ref. Until then, take care.